All right. Do y'all want to just like pray together?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a prayer. Okay. Thank you, God, for this day. And thank you for connecting Shelby and Taylor and I in the beautiful way you did. We are so grateful for the connection, and we most definitely understand that it is very divine, and there is a much bigger purpose that we've all been brought together for. And we pray that we make you proud and do everything in our power to express love and light in this darkness that we're all experiencing, and to give just a place of refuge to the people that are hurting and that need hope and peace, and that need to get to know your love. And just let us be good representations of you, and let every word that comes out of our mouth be of our highest good. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And so it is. Well, thank you guys for taking this call with me tonight. When I saw what was happening with the world right now, it's not just a concert that's kind of got me just realizing the spiritual battle that every single person on this planet is facing. But this concert, just because it does affect so many people, and it was so out in the open, but the concert that I'm speaking of is the Astroworld Festival, hosted by Travis Scott in Houston, Texas. And if you're watching this, chances are you've probably heard of what I'm talking about and where we're going with this, but it's really just devastating. And there was a lot of things that caught my attention the second that I saw videos circulating through TikTok that really spiritually raised my chill bumps. It was just kind of chilling to see some of the live footage and to hear the people's actual experience that were there, and to see it kind of like firsthand, not filtered by the media. And then to also see that, and then see what the media and how, like, what attention it was getting, and like just it was really it kind of spun me around last night. And so I knew that I had to reach out to y'all and talk about this, because I think that obviously y'all have your own views on it. So what's y'all's thoughts when y'all found out what was going on? What did y'all think? Like, what was your initial reaction, Taylor?
I have literally been nonstop looking into this whole event ritual for like 2 days. I've been heavily invested in this, is trying to figure out what really happened. And like, like you, I also, like, right off the bat caught a lot of symbolism and a lot of things that just really, like, just sent chills down my spine. I mean, there was just a lot that just really caught my eye, and I don't know how much you guys want to go into that right now. But from my understanding, and this is not to really scare anybody, but this is just to like help people be aware of this reality, because it's no longer a conspiracy at this point. I mean, it's so out in the open, that like Brooke said, it really is a spiritual war. And what we are dealing with is ritualistic concerts, and basically energy harvesting through dark entity possession. And like, that's kind of a rabbit hole in itself, but basically a lot of a lot of people went to that concert with the intention of just, having a good time, and obviously tragedy struck. But we need to start looking at this not through the lens of coincidence anymore. Like, these things this did not happen by accident. The media wants to portray it, and obviously Travis Scott with his super fake disingenuous apology video that, you know, this was an accident, this wasn't supposed to happen, oh, it was, you know, mismanaged or whatever. But this was absolutely planned. And without getting too much into further, you know, detail about that to kind of prove that it was planned, we just need to understand that this absolutely is a spiritual war at the end of the day. And these mind controlled celebrities have never really been so out in the open as they are now, because they understand just as much as we do that this is a spiritual war. And at the end of the day, you know, and we don't want to fill anybody up with fear with talking about, you know, satanic rituals and things like that. But it is extremely important now more than ever, because they have never, I would argue that they've never revealed who they truly are, you know, more than they have at this current moment in, you know, in the ascension, or whatever you want to call it, you know, revelations, ascension, basically the light finally taking back control over a planet that has been controlled by darkness for such a long time. And they are fighting just as much as we are to keep their control. But as we are as we are seeing, the light is clearly has clearly regained its control, and they are just fighting very hard to take as many, you know, people down with them. But, you know, obviously God's plan is a lot greater than that. And I think this event obviously was a catalyst for a mass awakening. And I think that, like, as much as it is a tragedy, and as much as, you know, like the horrible satanic rituals that were intentionally planned for that night, as much as that is horrible, and it's disgusting, and it's satanic, it's Luciferian, we can take what happened and realize that, like, if, you know, we can understand it from a higher perspective, that this is all contributing to a mass awakening. And I feel like people are going to lean on God now more than ever, just seeing how dark, and people are, you know, even people in the crowd were talking about how dark the energy was there, and that it was very demonic, and they could feel like themselves getting, you know, having like out of, you know, getting, you know, being disassociated, like even possessed, people talking about being possessed, feeling like they weren't in control of their bodies, portals opening, all of this craziness. But at the end of the day, a lot of people started, like, I even saw a video the other day of this one guy that was saying that, you know, he said, God really opened my eyes. God really opened my eyes and told me that, you know, this stuff, this music, this industry, it's not for me. It really shouldn't be for anybody, but, or the satanic part of the music industry, I should say, not music in general, but that part of the music industry, absolutely. You know, we should all steer clear from. It's like it's never been more obvious. So we can take a horrible tragedy like what happened at that ritualistic concert and kind of transcend that, and realize that, you know, this is truly a catalyst for a mass awakening, and people are waking up, you know, faster than ever. So the dark is fighting, but God is fighting a million times harder to, you know, get his children back. Well, it's not that we were separated, but you know what I mean, to reclaim his children.
Absolutely. I feel like this is happening so that we can start to arm ourselves, put on the armor of God. And it's unfortunately, I think it's only going to get more and more intense as people are finding a light, as people find God, as we go through a spiritual awakening. These types of events are only going to get more and more intense. And I think, it's only the beginning. So now more than ever, people need to just be aware of the symbolism and be aware of what these things are, because if you're completely oblivious to the spiritual warfare that's going on, you're not protected at all. You don't have to fully immerse yourself in this stuff to be protected. Really, just being aware of it is its own form of protection. And I think that's our goal here. It's not necessarily to be like, ooh, check out all this really spooky stuff. It's more like, hey, once you realize that all it takes is the power of God and you know, protecting yourself, you know, with his words, and that is all you need. You don't need these, you know, these EMF protection things. You don't need you don't need to go down every conspiracy rabbit hole. In fact, I feel like that's what a lot of us three kind of maybe did, so much so that like not everyone is going to have to do that. It's just, you really only need to get the tip of the iceberg to understand that there's so much more going on. But yeah, my first impression, I will say, is why were there 14-year-old kids there? I was dating a guy, what was this, when I was back in college, or maybe I graduated, but we attended a Travis Scott concert. I wasn't a huge fan, but went because my boyfriend at the time wanted to go, and it's X-rated, there. And I remember specifically Travis Scott getting enraged because the crowd was probably too high on weed. We were in Oakland, California, and so nobody was like, mosh pitting or anything. It was actually just like, swerving. And he was like, "You guys are not making enough noise," and it was like, it pissed him off that people were like too chill. So that's what immediately came to my mind when I saw the concert or saw the news. But why were there kids there? It's because they're marketing Travis Scott to kids through McDonald's and through Fortnite and all of that. So that's something, especially if you're a parent, that you're going to want to be extremely aware of as your kids are exploring the metaverse, right?
Exactly. Yeah. That's I know, that's what really struck with me about all of this, is because just the week before last, it was Halloween, and my son was wanting to dress up, and I was trying to get out of him, like, what do you want to dress up as? And he, like, the very first thing he brought up was Travis Scott. And as a mom, and being what I like to believe, a conscious parent, where I have become more aware, especially these last few years, of what I consume, not just eating, but with music, what I watch, and then, so therefore what I allow my kids to do. And I instantly was like, hold on now, Travis Scott, like, where does this even come from? And why is my 6-year-old asking? And then it kind of clicked with me about him being on the Fortnite video game, and them kind of idolizing him and making him seem like the superhero, and like they got to go to his show and his concert, and so they really involved the kids into like make and then the kid, and they use his music and his stuff and the avatar on the game, so like the kids feel like they're supposed to be listening to him and things like that. So it's like, it's real programming. And that's, as a parent myself, I see that, like, I see how it affected me growing up with people that, like, celebrities back when I was a child. So now as a parent, I can see how it is affecting my children, and how this is, to me, that probably this, like, the scariest part of it all is how it like our music industry, it's not just our music industry, but because of the topic of conversation, I just want to focus on that right now, because our music industry, to me, is the number one way that we all can connect. And you don't have to know each other, but I guarantee you, we've heard the same song before. Like we could have never said a word to each other, but I promise we've heard the same song, even if it's just happy birthday, or you know what I mean? Like that and I got chills all over me when I said that, because there is nothing that connects us more than the tones just how we speak to each other. Just think about that, the way that language has developed in tones, and like other languages speak different tone, like it comes out in the our alphabet and stuff, so like tones and music and all of that has forever been a part of human existence. And so for us to not take a deep look at how they're using the music industry specifically, because it's probably one of the most influential of all industries, to target children, to target adults, to target elderly. It doesn't matter. You get everybody in that industry. Whereas like the art or whatever, you're going to get genre, certain age groups, but the music industry, it literally touches every single person. It is literally everywhere. So like for me, as a parent, to just like, it really made me want to take a step back and think, what are my children consuming? What am I allowing them to consume? Even by playing the game where they hear the music get like consumed in this world of his. And then like, as a parent, to just, like have that awareness, to me, is the game changer, because that dictates, you know, where my child, like whether they might end up at a show of his one sometime. And if I can give my children the awareness of what they're consuming, to pay attention to the lyrics and the intention, like how they feel when they listen to the song, because your body is the greatest instrument ever made, and it will tell you, if, like, literally right now, I don't know if y'all can see the chill bumps on my arms, if it'll focus or not, but like it is the greatest instrument ever made. And we are, like, Shelby and Taylor, you both know, I say all the time, we are a human radio. That's what we are, as a human being, is a spiritual radio. We are transmuting frequencies internally. And so for people like that are going to participate and go and be a part of these festivals, like I am that girl. Like I love going to shows. Shelby, literally just a couple of weeks ago, I hung up with her and I was like, all right, girl, I got to get off here. I'm going, my soul's going to church tomorrow, because I was going to a concert of a band that I like hold very near and dear to my heart. And so just that in myself, how I even like connected with music like that, and reference it, like taking my soul to church, because that's how it speaks to me. And then for me to be conscious of now, like in the future, like I know that's going to be a game changer for my children, and not just myself, but for my children. And so for me, like I wanted to have this conversation with you guys, because I know we have all different perspectives, but I think that it is it's a collective concern right now, because you don't have to have children. I mean, you could been somebody that participated, but we can all see that there is just something negative about it. But for me, the reason of course, like I was going to talk to y'all about this, but like it all, like I said, you know, it brings us back to like, it's not just bringing us closer to God in our own personal journeys, but it is bringing a collective that has been far away from God. Those people raging in crowds, and people doing drugs, if there was drugs involved, it doesn't matter how they died. It really doesn't matter. The reality is that there was lives lost, and the fear and the energy of fear and rage that was fueling that place that night, that is the most demonic thing that we can experience as human beings on this planet, you know. And if we can collectively look at this and examine it and just observe, so we can, like, that's how I feel like we can do justice and like give justice to the people that lost their lives and that were hurt and injured and traumatized. Like there's going to be people healing from this for a very long time. This is going to spin a healing like we've never seen before. I'm telling you right now, God is like, just like how the devil works hard, God works even harder. And if anyone out there is living in fear right now, I just ask you to take some time and ask God to show himself to you, so you can be aware of the presence of the divine and know that there's the only thing to fear is not being close to God in these days that we're living in and the days to come. Because I'm telling you, if you think this is bad, these demons are freaking out because they know what God is doing, and there's nothing that they can do to stop it. So I know I kind of went on a little tangent there, guys. Sorry. Spirit was getting in me and had to go give some
really
hope
like
and
that
stuff.
Yeah,
but
go ahead, Taylor.
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say I wanted to add to what you were saying about like music and the frequencies, and because like a famous quote from Nikola Tesla is, if you want to understand the universe, think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And kind of circling back to the concert, another thing that I noticed was actually the very first 30 seconds of the concert, as he was kind of like the portal was open, you could see the 8 spheres. It kind of almost you can kind of tell like with like the really low hum that was coming out of that at the very beginning. you could tell it was almost like the intention was to put people in some sort of hypnotic state, hypnotic trance. So then, so then after that, I mean, you could even tell obviously that, Travis was pretty much in a trance almost the entire time by his own, the frequencies that are coming out, from his music. There's extremely low frequencies. Can you imagine, if like 50,000 people gathered together to, end the tyranny, or to save the children? Imagine the shift in that energy, instead of getting attacked by demons, all like literally, like if you had like somebody, I don't want to say Hillsong because they're Freemasons, but like just Equanimous, even shout out Equanimous. But you know what I mean, like imagine we had like 50,000 people come together to end the vax mandates, to end the mask mandates, to end the tyranny, to actually stand up for human sovereignty, and our divine birthright as free human beings. Imagine if like the energy of that type of crowd versus, so it's interesting to think about.
Well, I imagine, and I wish for like Coachella style, not like Bible studies, but like worship, where we're all singing, songs,
that elevate all of our frequency.
Exactly.
They want to be trampling each other. I mean, like that's
exactly. But one thing I like that you said, Brooke, is like about music in general. And well, first of all, it's sound, like sound energy and purifying sounds. That is at the root of every religion for a very good reason. It's how people communicate with the divine and feel that they are in the presence of spirit. So there's a very clear and logical reason why that is the medium that is being attacked, because that is what connects so many people to God and can take you to really any time, right? It's like the ultimate timeless form of time traveling. Exactly. And so that is why that is attacked. And I also love it, the point that you make about it bringing everyone together, because when you think about it, when you're at a concert, a festival, and you have people squished all around you and you're all singing one song, do you care if that person is Republican or Democrat? Do you care if that person voted for Trump or voted for Biden? You don't know, you don't care. You're all singing one song, and you feel a sense of unification through the music. It's like, and I broke this down for you guys earlier, but universe, we're one verse, one song, like that is the ultimate goal. And I think, if we want to look into the future, I really think music is what is going to like help us transcend as an earth, as a planet. Me too. And that is why it is being attacked the way that it is, unfortunately. But there's so much, like I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I know, like you said, going forward we're going to focus more so on all of the beautiful things that you can do with music and all the ways that you can connect with the divine. But of course, first we have to get the homework done, which is just understand that this beautiful medium is going to be attacked simply because it is how for centuries we have communicated with higher realms.
Exactly.
And expressed our gratitude. So.
Yeah, I mean, just like for me, for example, like I think back, like music for me, like think of like when we're like going through a hard time, or even when we're not, when we're in a good happy mood, like you hum something, like people hum, like I know like this is kind of like but like the slaves in the field, that's where blues came from and originated from, was from the soul trying to speak, from like the soul talking literally and just creating that melody. And you can feel the pain when you hear the songs that are written like during that time period. Like I got chills again all over my arms, because music is literally the one thing that will connect us. It is a time machine in itself. I mean, even in my own life, I can think like when I hear something, it takes me back literally to that time in my life where I either had that experience with that song or heard it for the first time or whatever. Music is just like that. And like, obviously I know in the show, like a lot of this about music is going to come out, but for me, I think the biggest thing, and another thing, like I guess we can wrap up and end with this, guys, is so we can kind of stay short, but like this will circle back around to everything. So for me, I think the best thing that we can ask is that these artists, you know, that are putting this content out, that are promoting these festivals, that are doing all this, that are influencing our children, the younger generations. We just have to ask for some level of responsibility on their part to be aware, as just like us as parents, and even if you don't have children, like we're just begging for people to come out and eat, like now more than ever, I'm drawing the line in the sand for these artists, basically, like collectively artists have to make a choice. Are you going to be team God or team fear? And team God does not allow the children to be hurt, and consciously we're being hurt. Physically, people are being hurt, and that is not okay. And God is not okay with what is going on. So in this moment, it is being very loudly made clear that we have to rebuke all of this. And Jesus is here and present with every single one of us on this planet. And this was what Jesus was trying to explain to us, is that we are not fighting the flesh and blood. We're not fighting it's more, it's deeper. And once you understand your inner, when you have the inner standing balance, you understand the actual world and the spiritual realm and how real it is. And then you're aware to, that's your awareness is your protection. You understanding your own alchemy and being able to discern what you're experiencing around you. That is the true gift that God has given all of us. So where this world that we're living in, it is a world full of fear. That is what this world is. But God has given every single one of us the spirit to rise above that fear and to overcome and to not be scared and not sit here and dwell in the hell that we're in. We can overcome. We were made for this. We were literally sent here to remember of the divine connection within, so we can shine that light into the world. And literally these demons are, it's only going to get crazier, because the more and more that people become aware to what's going on, they have nowhere to run and hide, because these vessels are the only things that they can use to hurt us and to turn us against one another. So for Travis Scott, I pray that you draw that line and you know which side you're on as well. And I pray that this was not an intentional thing to hurt God's children. I pray that you understand the role that you have in children's lives. And I pray that the family and friends and people that surround you understand this as well, because the influence is what chokes me up as a mother, because I don't want to ever have to worry about my child going to your show and end up not here anymore. I, as a mother, am begging for artists of all genres to be aware of what you're putting out into this world, and know and understand that the ones on the other side receiving whatever you put out, we are becoming more aware. And if you're not putting content out that is promoting a higher consciousness, God's not gonna allow it to live much longer. So I just pray that everyone understands the spiritual warfare and how it's being used. And I promise you, the music industry, it's not the only industry, but it is the most influential industry that is going to be targeted because the audience is so large. And I just pray that everyone finds their spirit of discernment and turns to God during these trying times, because that is the only piece in my life that helps me as a mother get through and want to get through every day, because I want to show my kids how good God is in this darkness, in this dark world that we're living in. Every day I wake up with a new inspiration and hope. And I know that that is God. So for anybody that was like me and completely shook, I just pray peace over every single person watching this right now. I pray joy, and I pray a revival of faith over the collective. I pray that people turn to God more than ever. And I'm getting choked up in my throat when I feel this, because it is a true, like, that is where my heart is. I pray that no more lives have to be lost in the name of fun, in the name of idolizing these celebrities that don't care if you're here today, gone tomorrow, because they got paid and they're going to be okay. They have that protection, that security protecting them. They're not thinking of us the way that we idolize them when you're sitting there cheering them on, giving them your energy willingly, when they've given you all the signs leading up to that, that's what it was all about. I pray that this was not a very dark thing, because that's not the level that I wanted to go, but these are really dark times that we're living in. And I know that from here, we're only it's gonna get darker, but the light is gonna shine even brighter in that darkness. So thank you guys for joining me in this conversation. And if y'all want to add more now that I've like channeled all that for
No, Brooke, that was like literally amazing. You hit the nail on the head completely. I don't even know how much more I have to add, except there are a lot of artists out there that are trying to make it. And that are art, like Jimmy Levy, for example. He has he has some really good songs. There's a ton of artists that are starting to speak about all of this stuff, Hollywood and the occult and all of that stuff, and just trying to raise more awareness of the spiritual war. There are a lot of people that are trying to do that. And so I just, would add that, like, we should just continue to support those people that are actually trying to contribute to raising the collective consciousness and raising the vibration of the planet. And, not trying to get us out of listening to music that, really doesn't do us any good at this point. And really hurts our soul. So that's all I have to say.
Well,
I think
I appreciate you bringing that up, Taylor, because I know Shelby and you both know that that's what Love Light Soul Talk is going to be about. We have friends in the band Equanimous that have a record label, High Vibe Records, that we are very proud to be connected with them. And they do promote artists that put out high vibrational content. And we do plan on having them on in the near future, and sharing other artists who are conscious of the content they're creating for people and are really inspired to create music to raise the vibration of the individual, so we can collectively raise the vibration of the planet. So thank you for bringing that up, because we needed to make that clear, that's we're very grateful for Equanimous and their belief in us, and we can't wait to share the high vibe music with everybody. And I agree. We are gonna promote a lot more creators that are conscious of it. Shelby, what were you gonna end with?
I loved what you had said before. I almost feel like that's a good place to end. Just that we're not saying that, every artist in the music industry is, of the dark and is trying to infect the minds of children. A lot of these people are victims themselves.
Exactly.
A lot of people are completely unaware of the spiritual warfare, but that is what actually makes you a really easy vessel to be used. And whether or not, the people involved in the concert were aware of the symbolism and see you on the other side and all of that, the spiritual realm and, the entities that attach themselves to these people, they're aware of it. And
exactly.
So, again, it's all about just being aware that we ourselves are vessels. And it's like, what it's like, we're little cups of water, and it's like, what tea bag do you want to put in your cup of water? Because we are what we listen to, we are what we consume. And so just be aware, use discernment, and and have conversations, like, this is going to be, I'm really excited to do the show with you, but I don't care if our turnover rate is really high, because that means we're just giving people we're empowering people to go and have their own conversations, you know, and they don't need to have their next new podcast or their next new show that they listen to constantly. No, the point of this is for you to realize it's about, you know, you're trusting your own intuition and you're listening to your own song, you know, putting out your own music. So
absolutely. I love that. Yep. Making sure that your soul song is the loudest tune you hear, and that it's a high vibing song at that frequency.
And it's 11:11 here, guys. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt to say that, but it's a good time.
Well, I am so grateful for you ladies joining me in this little conversation, like spur of the moment conversation. This was really like last minute, and I'm very grateful for you guys. And I'm really excited that we have a lot more content planned, and we're gonna we've got a lot of things coming, so we're really excited and grateful. And I just again, before we end, I just want to take one more moment and just take a moment and pray for all the souls and the families that are affected by all this, because ultimately that's what really shook me. Is just I could literally feel the fear and the hurt and the pain collectively. And
I was there, honestly.
So our hearts go out to all the families affected by this terrible incident, and we pray that you find peace and there's justice served for your loved ones.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I love you, and I'm gonna get off here. It's 12:12 here. I just okay. So
yeah,
we'll go ahead and stop recording.